You already have learned that animals are divided into two main categories depending on the presence or absence of a vertebral column. The animals who do not have a vertebral column are known as invertebrates, and in our previous presentation you learnt about invertebrates. Today we are going to discuss about vertebrates, and this is the subphylum to which we also belong as human beings. There is a huge diversity in vertebrates, and that is very helpful to add beauty to the environment. We learn the features possessed by vertebrates at any stage of their life cycle. They are the presence of a spinal cord, which gives rise to the vertebral column, and then the notochord, which is a cartilaginous skeletal rod supporting the body in all embryonic and some adult chordate animals. Then the presence of a post-anal tail, that is the tail behind the anus. So this is also present in most of the vertebrates, but in some vertebrates like human beings this is absent. Then the presence of gill slits. So I told you at the beginning, these are the features shown by the vertebrates at any stage of their life cycle. So in the existing vertebrates, some of these features are missing, but they have shown in them even at the embryonic period. Gill slits. These are individual openings to gills. Then the presence of the ventral heart. Ventral in Sinhala, that is Udariya. So the dorsal side, this is the dorsal side, that is Prushtiya. So in vertebrates, the heart is located in the ventral side. Vertebrates can be classified into 5 classes. When we consider the hierarchy of classification, this is kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, and subphylum Vertebrata. There are 5 main classes. These are class PISCES, to which fish belongs, class Amphibia, to which amphibians belong, class Reptilia, to which reptiles belong, class AVES, to which birds belong, class Mammalia, to which mammals belong. Here onwards we are going to discuss about these 5 classes of subphylum Vertebrata. First we'll consider class PISCES, to which bony and cartilaginous fish belongs. If we consider the examples, there are so many fish species like skates, seahorse, butterfly fish, tilapia, goldfish, spearfish. Likewise, you can name a large number of fish species which are either freshwater, marine, or brackish water. So both cartilaginous and bony fish belong to this class. Cartilaginous fish are also known as chondrichthyes, while The bony fish are known as osteoids. So their habitats are aquatic environments, either freshwater, marine or brackish water. They possess an endoskeleton, internal skeleton, which is made of either bones or cartilages. Their skin possesses scales, and there is a lateral line which helps them to detect vibrations in water. They have different types of fins which are helpful for swimming, and some are helpful to balance their body. They have a two-chambered heart in which there is a single atrium, the upper chamber, and a single ventricle, that is the lower chamber. They respirate by using gills, and these are cold-blooded animals, or we call them as poikilothermic animals. Cold-blooded means their body temperature changes according to the environmental temperature. This special body shape, which we call as the streamlined body shape, is important to swim, tolerating the resistance from water. They have eyes without eyelids, and they perform external fertilization. That means they lay eggs in water and they are fertilized externally. So here you can see the first group or class PISCES, all are marine, all are aquatic organisms, either marine, freshwater or brackish water. Then we'll move on to the next class, class Amphibia. There you can see they have gradually invaded the land. They live both in water and on land, but water is essential for them to complete their life cycle. These amphibians exhibit metamorphosis. That means they have different stages in their life cycle which are different from each other. That is what we call as metamorphosis. If we consider the life cycle of a frog, they lay eggs in water, and once the eggs are hatched, tadpoles arise, and the tadpoles will become young froglets, and these froglets are developed into frogs. So the stages of eggs, tadpoles and froglets exist in water, and the frogs live in water as well as on land. So water is essential to complete their life cycle, and this is the first class of organisms to invade land. They also consist of a bony endoskeleton. Their skin is moist because of the presence of glands which secrete mucus. They do not have scales on their skin. We can take toad, frog, salamander, ichthyophis as examples. Newt is also there. They have limbs, and these are known as pentadactyl limbs because these are divided into 5 parts, and in between those there are webs. Therefore, we call them as webbed feet. These are important for them for swimming, the webbed feet. They have a three-chambered heart with two atria and a single ventricle. Atria are the upper two chambers and ventricle is the lower chamber. They respirate by using lungs as well as through the moist skin and through the buccal cavity or the oral cavity. These are also cold-blooded animals or poikilothermic. Pisces living in water, amphibians in both water and on land. Then we are moving on to class Reptilia, which are fully adapted to live on land. Reptiles belong to class Reptilia. We can take examples such as crocodile, the cobra, python, viper, tortoise, turtle, different types of snakes, lizards, water monitor, iguana, crocodile, and so many other varieties of snakes like kraits. So these are living in terrestrial environments. Some are living in water as well. These aquatic reptiles are either freshwater or marine. They also have a bony endoskeleton, an internal skeleton which is made of bones. And they have a very dry skin with scales. And there are no glands. That is why the skin is that much dry. Most of them do not possess limbs for locomotion. Therefore, they show muscular movements and with the help of scales they move. Some of the reptiles possess pentadactyl limbs like iguana, crocodile, water monitor, and lizard. Their heart consists of two atria and an incompletely divided ventricle. They lay eggs. Internal fertilization takes place. Their respiration is by using lungs, and these are also cold-blooded animals, meaning that their body temperature also changes according to environmental temperature. Then in our evolutionary tree, we are moving on to the next class of subphylum Vertebrata, that is class AVES. These are very well adapted to live on land. Birds belong to class AVES, and you know there are so many species of birds which add natural beauty, like the sparrows, hummingbirds, kingfishers, ostrich, penguin, jungle fowl. There are so many types, peacock. Then these are living in terrestrial environment. They use aerial and arboreal environments as well. They have a streamlined body like fish. This body shape helps them for flying. They have eyes with eyelids, but they do not have teeth. They have a beak. Depending on their feeding mechanism, depending on the type of food they eat, they have different shapes of beaks. They have an internal skeleton which is made of bones or a bony endoskeleton. And this skeleton should support them for flying. Therefore, this internal skeleton is light in weight and these bones are hollow. There are empty spaces inside the bones that will facilitate flying. Their skin is covered with feathers and scales are restricted to legs. These feathers are made of keratin, which is a protein. Their forelimbs, F-O-R-E, fore means the front. Their forelimbs are modified into wings. They have a four-chambered heart with two atria and two ventricles. So this is the stage in the evolutionary process where the heart is completed. Four-chambered heart with two atria and two ventricles are present from class AVES. They respirate by using lungs and these are warm-blooded animals, or else we call them as homeothermic animals. The reason is their body temperature does not change according to the environmental temperature. So they have a definite body temperature which will not change according to the changing environmental temperature. Then the last class of this subphylum Vertebrata, that is class Mammalia, to which we belong. Mammals belong to this. We call them as mammals because the young ones are nourished or the young ones feed upon mother's milk. There are aquatic varieties, but most of them are terrestrial, and the bat also belongs to this group, which is an arboreal animal. So this class has a huge diversity. They also have a bony endoskeleton and their body is covered with hair or fur. These hair are present inside hair follicles, in Sinhala Roma Cooper. They possess mammary glands to feed the young ones. There are sweat glands from which sweat is secreted, and there are sebaceous glands which produce sebum, which gives an oily nature to the skin. They have legs, or in some ones there are wings, and for some animals like dolphins they have flippers for locomotion. Like aves, the birds, mammals also have four-chambered heart with two atria and two ventricles. They show complete double circulation, meaning that blood passes through the heart twice when that blood passes through the body once. When blood passes through the body once, that blood has passed through the heart twice. That is what we call as double circulation. They respirate by using lungs, and like birds, these are also warm-blooded animals. For example, if we take the human being, the normal body temperature is about 37 degrees Celsius or 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit. So we have a particular range of body temperature which will not vary according to the changing environmental temperature. So there are certain exceptions because most of the mammals give birth to young ones, but there are egg-laying mammals as well, like the anteater and the duck-billed platypus. Tara hota platypusa කියලා කියනවා. And here you are shown the bat, which is also a mammal, the whale, which is an aquatic mammal. Likewise, there are different varieties. And remember, these possess placenta and embryonic membranes. They show internal fertilization. So, this is the placenta by which the growing fetus or the embryo is connected to the mother's womb, and there are different embryonic membranes which you will learn in detail later. So these mammals show internal fertilization, and in most of the mammals the testes are located outside the body. These are the organs which store male gametes. As these are sensitive to temperature, these are located outside the body. If I summarize about mammals, they have four-chambered heart with two atria and two ventricles. They show complete double circulation. They respirate by using lungs, and these are warm-blooded animals. We call them mammals because the young ones are fed upon mother's milk. And these possess earlobes. External earlobes are there. There are different habitats for mammals, including terrestrial, aquatic, and arboreal environments. Their bodies are covered with fur or hair, and these hair are present inside hair follicles, and they possess mammary glands, sweat glands, and sebaceous glands. So this is a brief description about the vertebrates under the 5 groups, 5 classes: class PISCES, class AMPHIBIA, class REPTILIA, class AVES, and class MAMMALIA. Hope you got a clear idea about